Oh, all right. Damn, I missed that. Potential setup coming up on Susan right there. Well, move's happening fast. Ooh, that spiked up fast. It's gonna possibly retest right here. Right there, right at 135-ish, 136-ish is where we need to retest. Otherwise, coming down to possibly all the way down to 115. 115 would be a clean play though. It's going to do it right here at this next support right above. It can still, like, did that actually come all the way down? Yeah, it did it at the support level right above it. Right above it. No, it actually did it at that spot. Let's see. Either way, it did it really close to it. It came down to 118. So that was the spot. It was the same key level, but they did it at the top instead of the bottom of the candle. Possible one on Rocket coming up. It's not going to be strong enough for me to want to play it. Or not right here. Or not at this area if it does it. I'd rather see a bigger support area. But there is a pretty big support area right at that between where it is now and 24. There's a couple. There's one where it's at right now, one at 25.5-ish, and one at 24.3. RSI is not quite that strong, so if it is going to happen over here, I mean, it very well could be if that support level's at, but it'd be more like that 24 level depending on where the RSI looks when it gets down there. Like I said, it's not going to be as strong of a play. I mean, it is decently clean. I need to really zoom out to see what the rest of the chart looks like to give a better idea of just how strong that play might be. Yeah, I would rather see it down here would be a cleaner play. Anywhere between where it is to this area, though, it very well could be making an entry off of a support level and spiking up, if it is going to spike up at least. So the RSI is showing a little stronger play now, at least on the 5 second. Let's see what the 30 second looks like, because it's almost at an hour on this one. So on the hour, yeah, this area down here, that's a lot stronger area it's going to be bouncing off of or have the potential, and it's starting to get close to it. RSI is looking very good for that level. We're going to be looking for an entry on this one. Entry anywhere between where it is right now, so that 22 possibly all the way down to even that 17 area. Either way, we're going to be looking for a trade. Oh my gosh, why did that do that? Pop it down, pop it down, pop it down. Alright. So we always need a retest and then an entry right here. Depending on how this retest goes, this could be the area. Or that retest could pop all the way down to one of these areas down here and then make a move. We don't necessarily need a retest if it immediately, or not immediately, if it curls down to this 20 area, since it's so close to the other one. If it pops down there and then makes an entry, we're good to go. But if it pops down all the way to this other support of 17 or 18, then we would need to make sure we have a retest down there. Oh. Alright, we got, it's not as strong of a retest that I would like, but still technically is a retest, and this is making an entry. I do want to see, this is not quite as strong of a retest. I do want to see it to break through this area though. So we're getting a breakthrough. I'm going to go ahead and enter. It's barely breaking through, but good sign. I have my stop loss. I might move my stop loss down to that 17 area, and just in case it goes down, I'll average down up to that area, but no lower in that area. I'll set it at 16. It's coming up that 7%. We're going to be scalping at like 8 to 12%, a portion of ours, and then we're going to take out, we're going to hold the rest for a longer play. We'll take 50% there. Alright, if it breaks through that area, we got a couple ceilings over here. Since tonight we are going to be holding, I would probably want to take out that 29 area for the rest of it, but like I said, we're going to be holding half in for a longer play. Part of my rule though is taking out the rest at a we are going to take out a little bit more there. Part of my rule with tonight though with that is taking out the rest, or at least more, at a big ceiling area, and that's a big ceiling area. It's a big ceiling area. We are going to move the stop loss up though. I'll be willing to let it come down, not for full retest, but I will set it underneath it because that's the very bottom. I'd be willing, but I would say it'd be, if it does come down and retest, it doesn't need to come down any lower, that 23 area. It is spiking up some more, so we got a good one going right here. The next big ceiling is around that 42 area. Would be where I'd want to take out more. Alright, went ahead and took the rest out. It's only $2 at that point, or that we had left in it. And I hate to see 18% go away. But I do need to hold some of these more. One of the things I am going to be looking for on the holding is ones that have the strong ceilings have bigger gaps in between. This one, man, that's a pretty strong ceiling right there. It did break through the other ceiling, but having another very strong ceiling right there that got tested 3 times and couldn't break through. You know, it's a strong ceiling. It's a very strong ceiling. Depending on your trading skill or trading preferences, you could always wait for it to come down and retest the area and make another entry, but at this point it's too high for me, or too high for a safer play. But it could test, could do a little bounce, make a new entry, and then just keep going all the way up. You know, who knows, all the way up to that area. But that's why I should have just held some in and had my stop loss there and put my take profit on the rest of it up to this level, because that would be the big level of 51, between 48 and 51 area. I don't think my let's see, I don't think my take profit ever popped up, or I know that my stop loss did. I might have canceled my take profit without looking at it now. That was a 150 jump. Who the heck is moving that? Got a potential play on your mom right here. So it's bouncing off one support level. It could be there, the next one, or the next one, depending on if we get a retest right here. We don't have a retest. It's breaking through to the next support, so we need to see a retest, then an entry. So they're going to be here, or the very next one below it. The next one below it is a stronger play. Either way, they're both strong supports. The next one would be one that increases the chances of it working. So it's consolidating. It could leave an entry still, but it's not going to be like a clean entry. So this one, let's see, now it's hitting that next support area, bounced off of it good, so it might not do a full retracement retest, but it is going to do a full retracement retest. Let's see, we might get an entry right here, but if we do, we're going to set our stop loss real close, because this one, it might spike down immediately after. Oh, wow. Let's see. Meant to sell the other 50% when it was at like 20%, but it is what it is. This one we are going to be holding. The rest of it, regardless of what it's either going to do, it's either going to hit my stop loss, or we're going to take out the next big one, which would be, you know, if it does want to do a huge upside, then that 69 area. We're going to test that method and just see what it does today. Ideally, it's hitting a good key support area there. So that actually, if we weren't in it, that would have been another area to enter. But we wouldn't even really got an entry there because the spike happened so quick when it did that retest of that area that it's just making that move super quick. But I am moving the stop loss up here. I don't want to see it break that area now. Ooh, we got close. Yep, okay. We're out the rest of it. So let's see what we ended up with. I know it went up to like 20% and we took a little bit out. I think at like around 10. And then I hit to take some out when I got to like 20, but it went fast. I think I only got filled at like 14 on that percentage. Let's see, we gotta refresh this. That last bit was a loss, trying out to hold. So let's see what it brought it ultimately down to. So only 5% CI. That's why I like scalping better, but or not. I don't necessarily like it better, but I like taking the profits while I can, or especially when it's 18-20%. But on those other ones, they might not rinse the rest of the profits if we did it on a slower moving one, but ideally it wouldn't really matter. We are going to be doing that still though. We're going to do it on enough of them because I need enough of them to test to see ultimately what it comes out to be, because just because it didn't work on this one, if it works on just one out of I think 3, then overall the numbers will be better than scalping 10. We're going to look away from that one. That's not making any good entries right now. No good entries coming up on this one. Which one? I think Grok OG Horny. Susan's numbers look good between market cap and volume and people. My RSI change is so high. So we missed out on this one. This one would have been a clean play. That would have been a really clean play. And it just happened to. It came down to that support area, went up, retested that support area. If we were watching earlier, we could have got into, because even though that last little bit of move was super fast, that entry was slow. So we would have got in right there at that entry. Possibly even right there, depending on how fast that little movement made. So that would have been a really clean play. Right, Poops numbers are looking good. Let's see. We're going to be watching this one. This one could be setting up a play here in about like 2 or 3 minutes on Poop, depending on what it wants to do. I mean, if it wants to just go up and go up, then we won't have to play for a while, but it might be a little quicker than 2 or 3 minutes. If it's going to shoot down fast, then the strongest area would be around this 21 area, but it does have a good support area around that 28 area. Depends on how it wants to move right now. We always got to have that retest and then an entry anyway. That retest will tell us which one is going to have a higher possibility of working. There's support levels throughout though. They're not strong ones, but there is support levels throughout. Alright, so the way this is curling right now, I would say it's going to be 22 area would be super strong. It's testing actually right here around that other support level, but I would say in my opinion, more likely it's going to come down here. And, well, actually, maybe not more likely, but if it does come down to this stronger support, I would say if it hits that and bounces, it's going to be a nice bounce. But it could make that move here. So it is retesting this level now. Somewhat, yeah. It's still in a little T. Yeah, it's breaking through. So it is coming down here to this area. All right, let's watch it. We need a good retest and then an entry. I don't like that retest right there. That little retest I did before, that's not ideal. That one's not ideal either, but it technically is a retest. I don't like it though. Not a clean area for us to get back in or to make an entry. I think it's going to still come back down all the way to that 22 area and then make an entry. So this is possibly still in the testing phase. All right, let's see what it does. If it starts to go back up, we're going to get in it. All right, breaks through. All right, there's no more plays for me on this one. There is a support level where it is right now, and there's another one at 13.1 and another one between 8.9 and another one at about 8.1. But they're not going to be strong enough plays for me to do. This could be making a play later on, depending on, you know, if it makes some stronger entries, like if it makes some pattern as it goes. But for me, it's not going to be one I'm going to be watching out for. Yeah, I did get it fixed. It was I figured out what it was. It was like one of my other things I had going was, I guess it didn't like it. So I don't know. Either way, I got to figure it out. So it's not cutting me off every now and then now. It had to do with my Google because I was signed into it. I don't know. Long story short, I got to figure it out. Alright, if you're still looking at Poot, if it comes down to this 22 area, it looks like it's already going to want to take off. But if it didn't take off there and it came down that 22 area, that would be a good, it would be a little stronger than it looked like earlier. So it was starting to pop up, and that would have been a good strength area to retest, but it's already making the move now. And technically it did it off that area. It just did it off the top of the candle instead of the bottom of the candle, which definitely happens sometimes. I like to do the bottom of the candle for a stronger play, but if you got a strong area, you could just miss out on those if you're only doing the bottom of the candle. But you also could get in a little too early if you're doing just the top of the candles. Especially if you're in for the top of the candle, thinking that the retest was done just for it to pop way below that. Next shot unstable. Your mom's starting to come down to some areas. Right here where it is one area. The stronger area on this one, well, possibly that 34 area. The more obvious play would be that 25 area, but this one, make sure don't put too much into this. This is making some long candles, so if it goes up, it's going to go quick, or possibly quick. If it goes down though, it's possibly going to go down real quick. So if you typically use a stop loss, for me, I'm not going to use a stop loss on this one if it makes an entry and we get in, because I would rather average down, because the stop loss ain't going to help much. If we get a huge candle that breaks through it, then we might not even get filled or get a much worse fill than I would like to have. I'd rather just average down at that point. So right here, it's going to test this level. The next one, the big one, will be 25. And then there is a big one There's a couple decent ones down below. One big one around that 18 area. We'll see what it does here. It'd be nice if it went off the most obvious ones, but we do need 2 strong confirmations. So that would be a strong strong support level, but we would need RSI to be showing too. And I'm thinking that the RSI might not show just because it's so low and bouncing up and down over here already. Sometimes that RSI only stays so low for so long. Alright, so this is better. The RSI is starting to go up. So that's what we want. So it's testing this area right here. It should bounce down now, because there wasn't really any good retest of that area for a bounce. Or not in my opinion, not any strong ones. I mean, it tested the support right there. It did the retest a little bit more than all the way it went past, but it went to the very next support close area. But not any good easy entries, not any clean retest areas. RSI is up now, so it would make the RSI look even better if it did come down here, and then we would have 2 strong plays, or 2 strong confirmations. Alright, it actually could still be testing this area right here. So it's still in the test phase. Like that was right what happened before wasn't even the test. Now it's coming down like a good, nice, smooth curl like that. So we might be looking for an entry on here. We'll see what it does. I want to see if it breaks through or starts to make a decent move. If it starts to make a decent move, we'll get in on it. So this entry will be a little bit more choppy than normal, which is okay. We have 2 strong confirmations. It's at a good strength. Well, no, I can't trade it. The RSI is not strong enough. The RSI is still play, so it's outside of my trading rules though. But if you want to trade it based off 2 confirmations, they're there. They're just not as strong as I can play. So I'm only going off those strong ones. So if it happens, it happens. I'll keep it pulled up in case anyone's watching and they're in it. That way I can tell you where some ceilings are. If you are in it, I'd be watching out about that 37 area. I might take a little bit of percentage right there. So it's coming up. It's going to test that 37 area if it does get to going. There's a strong ceiling around 39. You got a few strong ceilings. I mean, it could just pop up and just blow through all of them, but I would definitely say around that 39 area. So where it peaked before is a strong ceiling. So you got these 2. Where'd my music go? Hang on. Oh, my cord came undone. All right, we'll get some music going in just a second. So the move could still be, if you're in it, the move's still not over. You don't want to see it breaking 32. Otherwise, average down or just get out and get ready for the next support, because there is still a move to be made, and it's down here that comes down to this level. It is showing a red flag right now, that little stepping stone down. I don't like that. Alright, so it's coming down to this area. I don't like that red flag. So RSI is looking really good. So we got 2 strong plays right here. So technically, since it broke past it, as long as it pops right back up to it and then retests that area, it's still fine. It's still a strong key support area. Alright, so we need it to retest, and we need it to start bouncing around that 27 area when it comes down to retest. Pretty much right where it had that little bounce right there. It could make the move without retesting, since it did that little pop and test real fast, but not ideally. Alright, let's see for an entry. Alright, we're in there on this one. We don't have the stop loss on here, because it could still make a pop down very quick or pop up real quick. All right, went up to like 17% and then immediately down to 8%. We're going to take out 50% for a little scalp. And now we're playing with our trading rule or plan today, which is hold the rest and see if we get for a good upside. So with the trading rule, I can take out portion at the strong ceilings, which I can take out a portion at 32, but I would like to hold to 39 at the minimum. And on the downside, I can take out only after it tests the key support area, which unfortunately for me is 18. So it is either going to ultimately end for a loss or it's going to be on the upside. So right here, if it breaks through that, then I could take it out. Otherwise, the plan tonight is to test and see how the holding will go. And I got to do it enough times to see what the numbers look like after about at least 10 trades of holding. Because just because the holding ain't working on this one, there's been so many of them I've got into, got out just for it to keep going up. I kind of want to average down into this since it is low and at a support level. If it makes a little bit of entry, yeah, I'm gonna average down into it. I did that a little too fast, on that. All right, so I averaged down. I put 0.1 in and then took that 50% out after that little bit went up. So we still have, let's see. All right. So that way it kind of takes care of that extra percent that it went down. So now my trading rule is still there. Now I can technically take out at that same area, but I'm in a better position where it's still in the profit technically right now. Might not be once it comes down here, but it won't be, you know, crazy bad loss. Alright, hopefully we get to retest this and it just takes off. Don't like losing on ones that are up, but I gotta test this method. And I gotta stay with it because I know the one I don't stay with it on is gonna be the one that it works. And I really want to see what the overall number looks like on it when it does happen and work. Alright, so if it breaks this area, if it doesn't start going up, it can retest this area again or bounce around, consolidate, do whatever it wants. But if it breaks 17.4, then I do have to take out. The only other area I can take out a portion is the next ceiling area, which is 25. So I could either take all out there or I could take a portion. Alright, so it hit around that 25 area. I took a little bit more of my portion out. So now, I mean, this is strong. That's actually a very strong ceiling. So, on my rules though, said I could either take portion or all of it out at the next support. But that was also if we were still in the very first part of it. Since we already had all this, we already had an average down. We're gonna let the rest ride a little bit because it's already done so much retesting. It should, well, I say shouldn't do anything. I say it's just gonna do what it wants to do anyway, but we're gonna see. That 17.7 is still my area where I'd have to take out the rest. My next area that I can take out a little bit is gonna be 30-ish. 32-ish area. There's a good ceiling right there and a good ceiling at 41. So it's at 29.6. There's no ceilings where it is right there other than that little one, but that's not a strong one. The fact that it bounced that quick off that strong one usually means it's gonna retrace right back up there because that little one wasn't strong enough to bounce like that. That possibly could have just been one trader cashing out on some of his. Really want to take the rest out and just go look for a better entry, which is probably also why I like doing the scalping, because I'm in and out on clean ones instead of watching and hoping and seeing it make some things that sometimes I question. There we go. Alright, technically we're in the profits no matter what it does, because I already have more out than that I initially put in. So my initials are out. So this is the area where it's got another ceiling, but since we'll take out that ceiling. I'm going to tap a little bit on all the way up. So if we get on the next one and we get in where it's going to make that move on this one instead of the hump before, if we can do it without having to worry about average down, we get on that clean one, I may or may not take out on the way up as it's going like this. I probably will take out though, just knowing how I trade. But be good to get a 2x tonight on one. But it's hard to get a 2x if even if it's 2x, but you take out parts on the way up. Alright, so right here, if it doesn't blow through the ceiling, then we're going to take the rest out. Because it's got to break through that 42. If it doesn't, it's going to hit it and pop down. And if it pops down then well, actually I could do this. Well, I don't have stop loss in this one since they're making big moves. Yeah, we're selling the rest right there. On the downside on that now. I mean, potentially not, but I would say it's got a stronger chance to have a big move on the downside. But it could hit the support level it's hitting right now and bounce and keep going up. But at this point, we're going to look for a strong play on another one. All right, so that ended up being 13%. All right, select coin is somewhat setting up here soon. There's some red flags on this select coin now. Not too bad of red flags, but that this right here, how it went down, kind of makes me think when it comes down here, even if there's a retest, it might rinse. Even if it makes too strong confirmation. So we're probably gonna just watch this one. So right here we got that strong support. RSI's looking good. We do have two strong confirmations. If it bounces and retests and shows an entry, I would get in. Right now though, that I don't like that. It's one red flag that's throwing me off and telling me a potential rinse on it. It's not retesting either. It's blowing up to the next ceiling and keep going up like that. It's not even making a retest. If you got in before even waiting for a retest and just at a support level, then good for you. Getting in at just support level sometimes can work, but There's also a lot of times they don't. A lot of times they don't. Yeah, this one's trading in a weird way. A good clean one would have retested. But this area over here, this red flag tells me this is manipulated, or it's not some PvP going on. It's a little different. Oh man, Horny just going up and up. Holy crap. We should have been watching Horny. That just, yeah, that's done nothing but go up. Those are the ones we need to be holding for. If you like these older ones, I mean, there's potential coming up on this old grok that's 5 hours. It has very little volume, but there could be people with limit orders set at this support level around 10.4. So if you want to set a limit order up and just kind of keep it on the side, if it hits there, it could make a good little pop up. Maybe not for long, because if people have limit orders, that volume could go up super quick. Everybody get filled, it pop up, everybody see some profits and take out immediately. But it might take it a while to get down there. The only bad thing with that one is you wouldn't be waiting for a re-entry to test it. But you could wait for, a retest, but you could wait for a retest and an entry. But you might miss out on the ones that are actually moving with some speed. I don't even remember why I had that one even pulled up. I guess I saw something on it earlier. Alright, this OG official one, potentially looking like one setting up, since this one is a little older. I gotta look at the 5 second and the 30 second, but the key support area is right here at 108. This is looking decent. RSI needs to be a little bit lower, but that is a very big key support area. This is one that you probably look for an entry on. If it's not going to be here, then it's going to be at this one, but this is the stronger one. RSI is not as strong, not as low as I would like, but everything else looks good. So this would be your entry coming up, not right here. I would rather see it come back down to at least 104 would be a cleaner play. 101 area would be the cleanest, but it could do it at 110. So, alright, so it's retesting this area. Alright, let's look for an entry. We are going to be using stop loss on here. Alright, that's the entry right there. We're immediately getting rinsed on this one. It is it hit that entry and bounce down. That's usually not a good sign, but it happens. It happens. It does happen. Alright, so we're going to be looking for new entry, because it's hitting this next support. Usually once it retests and make an entry, it doesn't go down to that next support, but sometimes it does. And it just sucks to suck. So we need to retest again, and then we need an entry. We might wait for a stronger entry on this one just because it rinsed after making an entry. So we're going to be looking for a stronger entry on this one. No entry, and it's breaking down a little lower. Alright, there is a play coming. I wish, let's see, we might miss a retest. I need to see the levels. Alright, there's a couple areas. The next big one though would be that 49 area, but it could be anywhere between there and that 49-ish, 56 to 49-ish area. It could be anywhere right in here. The amount of time that this has been going with the volume and it's not spiking down super quick, this might be a good one. If we can get a nice clean entry, this might be a good one that goes up a good bit. If you're not trading with, set rules, you could always get in and set your stop loss for around that 54 area. We're getting it somewhat off. Oh, I shouldn't have hit that. That's outside my trading rules. We're trading outside the rules, but this is still a good setup right here. My stop is set for that right below that area. It's hard not to get in on ones that I can see something good on, but it's outside the rules. I'm sticking to the rules. We're trying to. I'm potentially going to move my stop loss up because it did make a decent floor right there. Yeah, we're moving. Instead of moving the stop loss up, I took a little bit more out, and we're going to hold and watch because this is making a play. It's making it decently enough that it could come all the way down and test this area where my stop loss is. I'm going to move it down a little bit and then keep going up, or it could keep going up here. Either way, we took some out and we're going to do the holding since that is the plan for the night. So this will be the third one that we've taken out at a profit area and now holding. Hopefully number 3 works for the holding part. I mean, everything on this one looks good for the holding part of it. The other ones didn't necessarily look bad for holding, but this one's the more cleaner holding play. But I would say each of them that we try to hold on showed some decent signs of a hold. That last one showed decent signs of a hold too. We just got in on it one area right before it did, so that kind of didn't make it as big of a percentage as it could have been. But a 10% win, but it is down at the area that we got in at, which is fine. They can come all the way down to that 55 area and retest and then bounce. I don't want to see it drop in that area. Oh, I do need to look what areas, because with my plan, yeah, so I can take out that area. That is still the strongest support area close to it. The only area that I could take out on would be the next big strong ceiling, which would be like all the way up to 103 area. So it's either gonna take the profits, or I can't take any out until it hits, or I can't take at least a portion out anymore until it hits that area at the minimum. Even though there's ceilings before that, but that's the next strong ceiling. While this is going, we're going to pull some up on this other side and see if we can find another play. LeBron. It's one has a little diciness going on. That spike up right there. Oh, hang on. I need to make sure I get filled. Let's see what that one ended up being after taking that last little bit down that far. So 3%, so they still win, but so far for 3 holds, we would have done better getting out each time instead of holding a portion in. It's pretty much just brought those 3 wins to a much slower win than they could have been. I guess not. Technically that, well, yeah. Technically that second one, I did try to take out at 22%, but I didn't get filled right there. Or I got to fill at like 14. So I think that one was pretty close, because if I took all of it out and got a bad fill, it would have been at 14 instead of us messing around and getting 13 after averaging down and such. Yeah, right here, when you see a big spike up, but you see it nowhere else over here once it started making plays, like this up is fine, because you got some PvP going on, but this big spike up, usually, I would say more times than not, means soon there's going to be a spike down real quick. And that spike down isn't as big as that spike up. So if that's one bundle, they didn't take out all their portion right there that they just put in. And potentially they just put it right back in. We're going to stay away from that one for a minute. Man, I wish we saw that play earlier on Slut Coin. That was such a clean play down there. Such a clean play. We need to find one of those clean plays that does nothing but go up. Let's check it out. That one, if we would have got in that clean play, that would have been the entry. We could have set our stop loss where we have been right there, and it would have never even got close to touching. It did nothing but go up. That would have been 30 to 160. We need to find one of those we can hold into. That's why the numbers make sense for me to hold some. It's just got to work one every now and then, and that will make the profits back from not making as much on the ones that don't work. A potential last play coming up on Poot could be a decent play, but it also, since it's the last play on it, it could rinse the rest of the way. I would say it's got an okay chance to make a play, but also since it's the last play, it might not be a crazy play. Alright, Slutcoin's making one. Get the ADX coming somewhat high. Look like it's coming high. Now that I scroll out, it's got much higher levels over there. Wish I could zoom out on that thing, because it looked like it was much higher than it was. The RSI is definitely on that low side, and it was at an okay support level. Let's look at what it looks like on the 5 second. Okay, 5 seconds shows that was pretty decent support level. That would have been, out of all the support levels down here, other than this one right here at the very bottom, that would have been that would have been the strongest. Well, there's 2 strong supports. That would have been one of them. Strongest one would have been out here, but yeah, that's a strong one. There was no retest and entry though, so I don't think the move's over. I think we're still going to be coming down because, yeah, it's going to be coming down because you got higher lows all the way up. So that's the first decent time it's made a lower low. And it's not retested that support level. Kind of curious what Poop's going to do on this this area. Volume's dying off. That's the only thing. Is if it does make a move, it might take it a minute. Alright, it's retesting this area now. It's breaking through instead of making an entry. It will potentially set the bottom of that retest. Yeah, breaking through. Now we can see one over here at 60. That would be the next clean one, 60 to 64. So pretty much where it is doing the height of the candles to the bottom of the candle. RSI's looking good. So potential play on there. Oh, I'm on the 5 second. Let's see what the 1 second looks like. Yep. Yeah, 1 second saying the same thing. So 1 second, a little bit more up. 5 seconds shows it stronger, which is usually better if it shows it stronger on the higher interval. But the 1 second it doesn't show it as strong. Either way though. This is your entry right here. If you want to get in on it, it's not in my trading rules, but that would be your entry. It's got that little ceiling right there. That's fine. I mean, it could test it, pop down, but it's not a crazy strong ceiling right there. All right, it's breaking through that. Your next one's right there. I would take a portion out right there if you're in it, because that is a decently strong ceiling. And not only that, but you very close above it, you have other strong ceilings. So even if it broke through that, it ain't gonna much higher before retesting again. So just what it just did. So if we zoom in, it tested that strong ceiling, popped down, and then even though it wanted to break through it, it didn't go much higher. It went to that very next ceiling and coming down. I mean, it might pop back up, but on the safer side, take out those main ceilings. If you did take out, there's possible another entry coming up. If you're still in it, you don't want it to break through this level. It's breaking, not quite. If it breaks through this level, then you would want to be out. It's popping off of it. So if you're still in it, that's good. If you want a new entry, it would have been right after it started making that move up. But I would take out at least portion up here at this right where it is, or this the same levels basically that it was at before. A portion, if not all. It's showing some decent strength, but on that safe side, I would take at least a portion and then play it through possibly for the upside. There's some decent strong ceilings above a couple different areas though, so it's got some work to be on a good upside. Alright, with that said, depending on your trading strategy, there's potential entry right here coming up because I don't think it's going to retest all the way down. Alright, that would be your entry right there. I would set the stop loss right underneath that hump, the 3076 area. You don't want to see it coming all the way down and retest. It could come all the way down and retest that area, the other area, but at that point I would rather get tapped out and just hop back into it. So this would be a scalp move or a long-term play. It's going to retest that area again. I would go ahead and take a portion out, if not all, for a quick scalp, or it's done battled that ceiling 2 times. Hopefully it breaks through. I would get out right now if I was you. It done tested that ceiling 3 times. It could not break through. That ceiling is kicking its ass. Get out. Looks like Poot didn't want to make that last play. Got booted out. Let's try to test that ceiling again. It is battling it out. Woo, it's breaking it. Oh, that's surprising. It does not want to go down. If you had your stop loss and just waited for that stop loss, then you would have got tapped out if you set it where I said to set it. So you would still be in it, but I apologize if you got out. Like I said, it's not want to break that ceiling, but probability that don't happen. But look at that battle. It stayed up there and just kept at it. The only thing that renders me with the trading strategy I got is I got a very high probability winning, but I miss out on those. Like if I got in each time I said there was an entry, that would have been 3 wins. This one, we're going to be watching Slow Coin. It's in a good area to keep making some more setups. This is a decently strong area right here. Not too strong, but this is one down here I'm going to get in on if it makes an entry, because it'll be a clean one. It'll be right at that 60-ish area, 60 to 63-ish area. But it looks like it's wanting to make its move right there, or potentially it's not retesting just yet. This one looks more like it wants to spike up right back to that high, or not the high, but that 113 area to possibly that 109-ish area. And since it didn't retest, I would say once it hits that, if it does get up to that area, it's going to pop down. Now it could do a small retest. It's curling down. It could do a retest to this 95 and then break up. And that would be a retest, but it wouldn't have any entry. It wouldn't be one I would want to get in just because it's got those close ceilings all right above it. So even if it bounces off this area, you're not really getting in for a strong upside. You're going to have a lot more battle trying to go up than anything. Alright, DR Derpseek. It's making one area right here. That's key support area. RSI is looking good. Retest. It's moving a little quick though. Moving a little quick. That's not a. It retested it, then it popped down again. That's not. That's your entry right there. Potentially, I would stay away for a minute, but that would have been your entry right when it started making a new high on that one. I would say if you're in it, set your stop loss for 65. It can't break through this area, otherwise it's coming down to the next support. The next main support is 42. If you're still in it though, this is one you can average down into because there's still a good chance that this is going to make a pop. Alright, so we want a nice clean retest and re-entry. That is not your retest right there. That was too spiky. That is not your retest. Alright, this is the last main support area it has. If it doesn't make a nice clean support area, this is one that if you're in it, you just take your loss on it. Or you can average down all the way down here, but that'd be quite the averaging down. I think it's still in the testing phase, unless it wants. I mean, it could take off, but it didn't make a clean retest. So it might be making a longer read. Might still be in the testing phase, but if you got in on it down here, that's a good upside. It's gonna GG's if you got in it without it retesting, but this is one of those. If you got in this one without it retesting in a good way, you would have got rinsed. Same thing here. If you would have got in without a good retest, you would have got rinsed. But that one time, without a good retest, it did spike. So right here it's retesting, or it's testing an area. This could lead for an entry. I don't like to do them when they're halfway through. They do still make for a good trade. They're just not my trading strategy right now. But that almost would have been your entry. If that next one was a green one, that would have been your entry. You can still do it on that level though. Alright, big entry coming up down here. I do see it coming down all the way down here now. That would be a nice clean one. The area I'm looking at is that 46 to 42 area. That would be the cleanest, nicest one. It did it on the support above. That's fine. North side's pretty high on it, and it's got those ceilings right there where it is. So do not get in on it if you're getting a little FOMO, because it's got a lot of ceilings right where it is. It can do whatever it wants to do, but probability, I like to trade on the best chance, and that is not the best chance getting in where it's at a ceiling. Let's look on these other ones, see if we can find a good smooth one as that's potentially coming down and making a good area. Showing strength, showing good strength, but not for me. I just want, because it did it halfway, I would have missed out on, since I'm looking for those clean ones, but it's the ones that makes me want to trade outside my plans. If it retests right down to this 82, so right here it's retesting, that could lead for an entry. I would have wanted to see it come a little bit lower. Yeah, there we go. So it's coming a little bit lower. So right here, okay, so blew through that area. So your next decent one, it's not really any decent ones right through there. There's some small ones, but not like too decent. I'm still looking for down here. I would like, it wouldn't be as clean as if it did it down over here, but it would still be a strong one, strong enough for me to get in on it. I might be just getting FOMO and looking for it now. Potential last play one coming up on Grot Kit. Don't have a crazy amount of volume though, but one you can look at for potential last play move. It wouldn't be quite where it is. Stronger would be around this, around between 10 and 12. I'm on the 30-second, so I can't really see the exact, but if you pop it up, it'd be right around that 12.4-ish area, no lower than 7, but the better bet would be around that 12-ish area. It could retest this area. It's getting really close to hitting now. Let's see what the 1 second looks like. It very well could retest right here at that 12.7-ish area and make that move if it gets some volume. But now that we look at the 1 second, the stronger would be 11.6. 11.6 would be very strong if it wants to make a last minute play. Just wait for that retest and entry. Oh, I can't believe I didn't get in on dirt. See, I should have got in with the halfway, even though that's not in my thing. I might be breaking my plans soon or rewriting some of my plans soon. That halfway point, though, sometimes, even though there's a higher chance than not, it's like a 60%. Some nights seems like 50%, so that's why that is out of my plan when it's showing a move without a full retracement. $29, 2 minutes in. This was a little dicey, but potential play right through here. That one is spiking up now. Alright, we got a tiny bit of a bounce. I wish that would show those candles a little stronger. Got a little bounce off that. That one I said, the grok kit, it's moving a little slow. It's either going to be this level or that stronger level. I would wait for that stronger level. Only way I would trade this one without waiting for that stronger level is that entry would have to be well, I would say this is actually somewhat of entry. This would be hard to say. These candles are so small, so they don't make the numbers look as big as they are. The decent ceiling it would be at is 15, and if it goes up, I can see it very well going to the 15. 13 to 15, that's a pretty big percent. But a strong entry, I would want to see it break through that ceiling, since this is not the strongest area for it to be retesting. It would have to break through that for me, but you could play this with a close stop and put your stop just right underneath there, right at that 12.8. Get in at that 13.1, set your stop for 12.8, possibly even 12.5, because that's still within reason right there, because if it could bounce right here or off that 12.7 and still be in that same area to be on the upside for that 15. So that way, if you lost, you wouldn't be losing much, and if you won, you'd have on the safe side 14.4, but potentially it on the upside 15.5. Like I said, this is the last minute play on this one, so there's not much volume on it. It could just give up here, but sometimes these are good last minute play, or last plays can be ones where it completely turns around for a while. Karen's making some better setups. Here we go. So this last minute play, we're going to get in on this last minute play if it gives me an entry right here. So it's got that strong area. So we got one strong confirmation. The RSI is, yeah, RSI is strong. Could be a little bit stronger, but it's at least in that strong level. If it was at this level right where it was before, it would have been as strong, but it's at that strong level. I'll tell you what, before, we're not even going to wait for an entry since this is the last minute and it's moving so slow. We're just going to set our stop loss super close, trading tiny bit outside strategy. I got 2 strong confirmations, but with how slow it's moving, if people have limits set up on this one at that retest, then that volume could come up and spike it up quick, since it's a last minute play. Or some people could be coming in, looking at one slow moving and seeing those levels and just hopping in it. Either way, it's either going to work or it's not, but if it doesn't work, we don't want to see it breaking 11.9. So, I mean 11.2. Since we're in it at 11.9, it wouldn't be a big percent loss. And since it's a last minute play with low volume, I don't really have to worry about if it does break through that area. I should get filled right at that area if it taps it. Shouldn't be spiking down so fast that it cancels out that stop loss. So right here, we're 7% up on it. All right, so that's, let's say 12. Right where it is somewhat of a ceiling. The next one is 13. Right at that 13. Ceiling's that's a little bit stronger than that 13, but we got 2 ceilings right there, and then we're back to those other ceilings. So a good little percent. We're gonna hold this one. It's a last minute play. We're gonna hold it. We're gonna see if it can break through those levels, and we're primarily gonna hold all of it instead of taking out a portion on this one, just because it could still be making that retest and then an entry, because we did prematurely get in on this one. It's looking good. It's looking good. It broke through that first ceiling. It's testing that other ceiling right here. It's popping down a little bit. The other ceiling is somewhat of a support now, even though it's super close. Not too great of a support, but it's technically a support. It's popping down. We're at 3% now instead of 8. Might pull one up over here and take a look. See if we get any entries going on over here, since this one's a slow moving one. Look at GLM, its last minute play was, look at that last minute play, it went from 4 to 7. Ooh. That's also one candle, I don't know if, or no, that's not one candle, that's a couple little ones. Be nice to get one of those last minute plays over here. One other reason I kind of don't want to take out portion over here is, since it's such a slow move, taking out just a little bit can make it look like it's going down more. Even though I don't have much in it, I don't want to be throwing any red candles up on it. And look at the volume. The volume is coming up now. So we got 1.4 now in that volume. So a lot more than we had over here when we first started looking at it. So volume's starting to come. That, if you're not in it, that would be your entry sign-ish right there. It's got to break through that ceiling. And it's got that one right above. But it's somewhat doing a retest right there and an entry. So that would be your entry right. I mean, it's technically breaking through both. So that would be your entry. But you want one more little green. One more little green would be a better entry. But that would be your entry. And you can still set for a close stop loss right underneath that hump. A safer bet would be down here, but you could still stop put your stop loss about that 12.2 area. So that way 13.1 to 12.2, if it didn't work, you wouldn't be getting completely rinsed out. Or it wouldn't be a big loss. So we're at 10% on it. 10% is the area I'd like to take 50% out on. Oh, I like to take 50% on 10. That's what I always do. So we very well might do that. There we go, up to 16. All right, so it doesn't have any strong ceilings until that 14.2 and that 15. So I'm waiting until that 14.2 to take any out, because even though I usually take some portion out at 10, like at this point, there's no strong ceilings. It's got like this tiny one over here, basically where it is right now, but that's not. Look at that. That's like a weak, very weak ceiling. That's probably the only reason it's even pausing right there. So 14.2, I might take a little bit out there. It's at 13.6. Or 14.2, 14.1. Alright, this is moving so slow. Really hate seeing a 16% win and not take at least a portion out. It bugs my soul. I might take a portion out and just ride it the rest, because it's bugging me not to have at least a little bit out of it at a 16%. Yeah, we're going to take 50% there. And now we'll let it ride. At this point, if you're in it, I will say you can either keep your stop loss where mine is, because it's still safe if it comes all the way down and wants to retest this area, or you could move it up to that 12.3 area, because that is a pretty strong floor now for it. I wouldn't really want to see it break through there, but I mean, it technically could and could come down to this area, but it would be better if it didn't break through that 12.3 now if it does come down. So far we did, what's that, 21, I don't know if it's counting this trade right here, but 21, so 27 trades, with 21 of them being wins. That's a 77% win ratio. I don't know if it's counting this one or not. I think last night it ended at 80%. Technically I have a higher percent today because I did 3 trades and one that I was doing a small test with earlier. It was not the method wasn't too much different. I was just making a little tweak, and I did 4 trades. They were all wins. One's pretty much a break even. It was like 0.23, so technically it was a loss after fees. But so overall, I'm at least over 80% win rate today. This one's slowly climbing up there. So right now it's at 14.2. So it's at that ceiling, or is it? Yes, right at that 14.2 area. So it's battling that ceiling. So that, like I said, that's the strong ceiling. The next strong ceiling is 15.4. So if you haven't took out a portion or you want to let it ride, let it ride. But this would be one area I might take out a portion. If I didn't take it out a little bit below that, just make myself a little happy. It's breaking through that ceiling. There's not really any strong ceilings. Like right where it is, a tiny ceiling. Well, it hasn't quite broke through that yet. It needs to go. I mean, it's broke the bottom of that candle. It hasn't broke the top of it. Now it has. So the next one would be up here. This 15. Yep. So it's at that ceiling already. That would be. This would be a point. I would go ahead and either take a portion or take all, because it has, even if it's on the upside, it has a stronger chance to come down and retest the area before going back up. I mean, usually if it's this slow moving, it's probably not going to go on one straight line up. We're going to take out 50% right there. We're going to have to move the take profit up. All right. Right here, it's looking good. I'd say it's not going to make a straight line, but it's next. It's got that little ceiling right there, which, I mean, a little ceiling could be a big ceiling when it's done nothing but a straight line. But the actual big ceiling is, it's got two coming up. It's got at that 20-ish area and the 21 area. That 20-ish area is a decently strong one. Right where it is, it's testing the bottom of that level though. So we're at a 30% win on that so far. Take it a little bit more on that. Probably going to just clip all the way up on it. So I am going to move my stop loss up to this level. I don't want to see it breaking this level. Or I'm going to move it a little bit lower than that just in case it wants to test it, but without breaking. So 15.5 is the area I don't want to see it breaking out. We want to see, since it is coming out, it would actually show some strength if once it hits around that 15.5 area, if it started popping back up. That'd be pretty good. Because like I said, anything that goes up, nothing goes typically in a nice straight line up. You know, typically go up, a little down, up, a little down, up, a little down. Let's look for some other plays if that's doing that. Look for some good smooth entries on these. That was a nice smooth one over here that happened a little earlier on LeBron. Look at that. Hit a very nice support area. I probably would have missed that one too just because it didn't make a good entry. But that would have been a very, very clean one if you did just, if your trading rule was just key support areas. Man, Slutcoin got rinsed right there. Look at that strong red candle right there. Someone rinsed that one. If you do want to look at Slutcoin, it's got two areas coming up to look out for. Basically, the broad range, anywhere from 36 to 24 would be like a broad range. Anything could happen between there. The big one would be 27-ish area. That would be the big one. A decent one though, or the other strong one would be right above that 31. And either one of them are just as strong as each other. Like you got the bottom of one right here. Those are the ones I like to do. But with that other one being so close and still technically being in that area, because some people do the top of the candle, some people do the bottom, and since you got the top of the candle, same time you do have the other floor over there. It could be either one of those. They're just as strong as each other. Unless it makes a move here, then that's not going to be a play till later on. Alright, good. It's on the way up again still. And it did it without even having to come all the way down to this level. It got pretty close, but it didn't break through that level. That's what we wanted. That's why we did have our stop loss there though, because if it did break through that level, it would have been looking more on the downside. But if you were already watching this one and you took all portions out where I said like it's got that strong ceiling, your entry would have been, if you did want to get back into it and your trading plan allowed, after it started making this bounce right here, would have been your entry. You don't have to have a retest when it's doing a bounce. If it's on the up, it can do a bounce without retesting. So your entry would have been right where it made a new high on that previous little hump right there. Usually in stocks, you want it to actually make a new high. Or stocks, you want it, your entry wouldn't be till right there, but that is one thing that does not work as well on memes if you do that. We are going to move our stop loss up just a tiny bit because it does have that nice floor now. We're going to take a little portion right there. I hit 50%. I should have took 25% instead, but because that's the strong ceiling that it's at right now. So it could pop down and do another little bounce. Ideally, just blow through it, but that's the strong ceiling it's at right now. We might move our stop loss up to 19.2 because that's a good support level. 19.2. Yeah. If you want to move your stop loss up, if you don't want to play it like too big of a range, since you know that's a big percent if it dropped down from where it is right now all the way down to where my stop is. Your next area would be, I would put it like 18.3-ish area to be on the safe side. We're not quite through that ceiling just yet because it's still in that same range. Is right at that 23, right before 23. Like, yeah, it broke through that a little bit, but that one's so close. They're still in the same range. You want to see it break through those. Alright, it's coming down for that retest. Ideally, we got a couple supports. We got 19.3 as a support level. If it bounces off that, then this thing's got some good strength. But this is the last play one on this one. So keep that in mind. Sometimes those last plays, they restart this whole thing and revive this, revive a coin. But sometimes they just get a last pop and it's done. So right here, we don't really want to, we want it to bounce off here. It can go a tiny bit lower to that 19.2 area. Like, you got two in the same range of support. You got right where it is, the bottom of this wick and the top of this wick. Those are still in that same support area. Suckling potentially making a setup here soon around that 44ish area. Between here and that 44, here around here, if you're going to do the halfway ones, RSI's okay. That strength level's strong. Stronger though at 45, but that's a pretty strong support level it's at right now. So if you want to just watch for entry on that one, that's potentially a good play. I'm going to watch for it down here at the 44 area for a little smoother play, just because the RSI is not as high. But that is a good area. If you are watching for an entry, that was not your entry just yet. Now, since it did that big little spike up and down, instead of making a nice clean entry, now you need it to break over that, or I would want to see it break over that for better entry. And if it consolidates and then starts to make a move, then it doesn't have to break over that. Or I mean, if this was regular stocks, it still would. It would actually have to break over that one, but if it consolidates on this, then it wouldn't quite have to break over it. Alright, so it's coming down, so it could make a move right here at this support, or a cleaner one would be down this 40, the bottom of it would be 43.5. We don't really want to see it break through that, otherwise it's going down to the next support area. Be real clean though if it comes down to this 43 area and makes for a good entry. We don't really have to have a retest on this one if it makes an entry when it hits that level, simply because overall this is a retest of this area, because right here it started to make that move without fully retest. I mean, it did that halfway retest, but not a nice full retest like I like to see, not a nice clean one. So we're still technically, I mean, even though you would have made a lot getting in at the bottom and out of the top right there, technically to me still in that testing phase. So right here we want it a little cleaner than that little bump, because it's still not quite at the bottom. So we won't, there we go. The only thing I did bad on that one is I went against my rule. I went actually in on a ceiling. Is what it is. I'm gonna go ahead and set my stop loss up for the bottom of that one. It could still come down test, but that was a decent entry. It just so happened to also be at a ceiling. We're at 8% on it. We're gonna go ahead and take 50% right there at 8%. It's got a potential to go to that 70 before hitting a real good ceiling. It's got a few ceilings before that, but a decent ceiling is at that 70 area. Like I said, since that entry just so happened to also be at that small ceiling, it could still not be a strong entry just yet. I mean, yeah, we made 8% on it already, but wouldn't be crazy surprising if it came down all the way to this main area down here that we were originally looking at and then made a better entry. So basically doing a retest without needing to do a retest. Alright, this one we're about to get out of. It broke through that support area over here. I mean, you could wait for the strong support right there, but I'm gonna go ahead and tap on that one. The move's not done yet, but with it being a last play, we're gonna see what it does down here at this area. If you're still in it, you're fine, because as long as it don't break through that, you're still good. If it breaks through, I mean, if it bounces off of this and starts to make a curl, we might get back into it. Probably not though, just because it's going to be outside my trading plan. So that was a 32% win on that one. Alright, so yeah, those numbers, it didn't count that one earlier. So 28 trades without counting the 4 wins on that other wallet. With 22 wins. That's 78%, not counting those other ones. If we do count those other ones, one of them was a break even, so we won't count that. 28, 33 trades. Is that right? Hang on. Still watching this one. 28, 29, 30, 31. 25 divided by 31. That'd be right at 80%. If we counted those other ones. Or counted 3 out of the 4 other ones just because the other one was break even. Alright, so this is the level we want to look at. I'm hoping it bounces off here. That would be a good clean one. But it's fine if it comes down to this 40. As long as it don't break it. If it breaks past it, we're out of it. I could potentially cancel that stop loss and average down. Because there is that level down below there. But I'm going with my gut on this one. If it doesn't bounce off this one will just be a loss. Because I don't... This is too strong of an area for this not to have a bounce. And that's not the one below it. Very well could come down and then make its bounce down there if it doesn't here, but this one will just be a loss on that one. If you did want to average down, just keep an eye on it. See what that ended up being on here. Change the percentage a little bit, but it's fine on that one. So that ended up being 9%. Didn't we even take out some? Yeah, that was even with taking a little bit out once it made a little pop, just because once it went down a little too far. We're gonna look for an entry. If it makes an entry, I shouldn't revenge trade this one. Don't need to revenge trade it. I want to though. Oh, we might trade outside the plan and revenge trade this one just for one go. But it would have to be a nice, good move for me to do that. Actually, it's getting pretty late. It's 11 o'clock. I might be calling it, yeah, I'm still streaming. Might be calling it tonight though. It's getting late here. And I might be stopping myself from revenge trading this just because I know I want to. But it's outside my plan. I can't. But I hate to end with the last one being a loss, but ultimately one for the day. Still have a high win rate going, so that, and I did a couple trades with another wallet. Trading similarly with one little difference. That one difference we're probably going to do more often because earlier I did 4 trades. One was break even, but one was 30%, one was a 37% win, one was a 4.9% win. So all wins, technically. One of them really wasn't after fees, it's more like a loss. It shows as a break even though. Yeah. Yeah, I need a slogan. Shoot. Oh. I better cut myself off. That's making a little curl. It's making me anxious to get in it. Because it's not a good enough curl bit. We'll just have to end it with the last one being a loser. Oh man. Rocking's got good numbers. Between the volume and the market cap, it's looking like it's actually trading with some actual people. Alright, I can't be looking at that one. I need to get off. Oh, I gotta get off. I gotta call it a night. Cut myself off on this. Hope you have a good night. I will see you later on.